You recognize for a question.
Senator Henry, we talked yesterday about the urgency of this measure, and to our pro tem, I certainly know that this has been on his agenda, but during the regular session, this did not take on the real push that it's taken on during this. And I can't help but come back to that. I think a lot of us are concerned the urgency with which this is being done. We've had a $70 million budget cut, which equates to over a $400 million deficit on an annual basis for the last 2 months. And it's just the timing of all this that I think unnerves a lot of us, and I think this is something that Democrats and Republicans both are very concerned that I think there's 2 issues. One, they're very concerned that if this is approved, there's a general belief this money is going to be spent.
Hold on. Members, we got too much chatter going on. You got to talk. Go out back. Go ahead.
Thank you. And the other is wrestling with the Initiated Act. And Representative House did such a great job, and I think that so many of us, Senator Hutchinson, tried to stay true to the marijuana amendment for what the people voted for. And I think there's a real concern with these 2 areas that we're deviating from that this money will be spent if we give this permission, and that we're deviating from what the people voted on in 2000. This $100 million, I mean, we've got an opioid epidemic in this country, and that would be at the top of my list with something that needed to be addressed with money like this. I understand the bond rating, but I can't help but get the feeling that the bond rating is ancillary to the issue. The issue is trying to get control of this money because of budget shortfalls. And the other concern that we haven't addressed, or we've talked about bond ratings, is our RSA, which we have that no other state has, is a wonderful tool. And it keeps us from getting in these holes. We have to make some pretty tough decisions and make some budget cuts. Unfortunately, in the last few years, we hadn't had to experience that. What's going on now. But I think those are the 2 issues, Senator, that are driving this concern, and I think you feel the trepidation in here about that this money's being spent and that it's trying to be protected. And so I think those are the real issues.
Well, again, I think we're rehashing old ground, but the money's not being spent. It's just not. There's nothing that we do in this legislation is going to spend 1 dime of this money. With regard to the Initiated Act, and I also think that we should take a lot of pride in the fact that we tried to stay very true to the voters' will on an issue that maybe many of us disagreed. But we're talking about a bill that was passed when Arkansas was identified as one of the most unhealthy with regard to cigarette smoke and the effects of tobacco. We spent $1.6 billion plus on that in the last 17 years. And also to that, we've led the country with regard to our efforts to improve healthcare and Medicaid expansion, some of the efforts that we've made to make Arkansas more healthy, and we've got a long way to go. This does not prevent us from continuing those efforts with this $100 million. What this does do is, again, I think, demonstrate fiscal responsibility with regard to how you manage your funds. Any businessman is not going to leave his funds in a place where he does not get maximum return, particularly when there is the ability to still spend them however he could have spent them otherwise, which we still have. We will still spend them for health care, and as I've mentioned earlier, if there is a downturn, probably one of the areas that we felt the fastest is in health care costs and our ability to pay our match rates and the costs that we've incurred because of the efforts we've made to improve health care. And as I've also said, the idea that this is some way, you just heard the budget director say there's no intention to use this to build $70 million if we're still below forecast. I've already indicated that We are not meeting the 3% threshold, so we couldn't do it even if we wanted to. The fact is, many of us believe it's good fiscal policy to cut taxes and to run a leaner state government. Many of us also believe that when we do that, the responsible thing is to have cash reserves in the event that the economy turns down. And that's what you see happening here. So we have cut taxes, and I will not dispute Senator Elliott or your or any other people's position that we are, if we had not cut $200 or $300 million in taxes in the last couple of sessions, we wouldn't be here with regard to the shortfall in revenue. But to say that that necessitates the other is not the case. I think most of us are comfortable with cutting the budget. Those of us that voted for cutting taxes. But we also think that along with that, so we don't get in a bind that some of our neighboring states have done when they've done both, is to have no reserve is not good management. So